Today, we'll take a look at the top 5 biggest product innovations ever made for a World Cup tournament. You know, some of those products that really set a new standards for how products are developed for football, and also, of course, played a big role in how products are looking today. And of course, also products which at the time were completely new and revolutionary and actually a little bit unheard of, actually. So let's take an innovation trip down memory lane and start off with number 5. And that is the PUMA Super Atom from 1952, made for the World Cup in 1954. Now, some of the history books will tell you that Adidas actually created the boot that really helped Germany win the World Cup trophy in '54 because of the newly developed screw-in studs, which helped the Germany players get a lot better traction than their opponents, who were apparently falling all over. But PUMA have actually since refuted that claim, pointing to how a lot of their players were rocking the Super Atoms back in 1952. And obviously the big deal about the Super Atom was said screw-in studs, proving, at least according to PUMA, that they were in fact the first people to invent and innovate on the screw-in stud front. Now this is obviously the 2017 recreation of the PUMA Super Atom. It still weighs the same as a small tank and is brilliant for toe poking, but the funny thing is that the studs have actually been nailed onto the sole plate itself instead of, screwed on. So they could make screw-on studs in '52, but not in 2007. You get the deal. Number 4 is the Adidas Questro World Cup football from 1994, where the tournament was held in the United States of America. And here Adidas introduced a new 5-layer construction, which was then in turn coated by a thin layer of polystyrene film, making the ball not only more waterproof than its previous World Cup incarnations, but also made it lighter and a little bit more responsive, which in turn led to a lot more goals in the World Cup tournament, which was exactly what FIFA wanted, seeing that a lot of the American sports already were high-scoring ones, so the Americans were kind of used to a lot of goals. And you can say that this was really the ball that was a big step closer to the footballs that we see today. I think some people would call it the Jabulani of the 90s, because even back then goalkeepers were complaining left, right and center about the new faster flight pattern and the kind of unpredictable movement of the ball compared to the older and heavier World Cup footballs. Does the complaining sound familiar to you? Jabulani, Telstar, team guys? Yes. Number 3 is the Lotto Zhero Gravity from the World Cup in Germany in 2006. It was the first laceless boot ever made, and it had been in development for a couple of years and cost a small fortune to make. But in the end, PUMA had a true design icon ready for the World Cup in 2006. Now, I don't exactly recall anyone using it during the tournament, mind, but the Lotto Zhero Gravity really made the unthinkable possible, and it really influenced boots in the future for years to come. Just think of Adidas's boots in 2018. Laceless, laceless, and laceless. And the funny thing about this boot, apart from the fact that you needed a big-ass shoe on to actually just get in, one of the main guys behind the creation of the Zhero Gravity is called Denis Dekovic. Remember that name. Now, number 2 is the Nike Magista Obra from the 2014 World Cup in Brazil. Obviously, this was the first knitted high-cut football boot ever made, and it naturally sent shock waves through the football boot world, where the construction of the Magista really changed the way that football boots are made even 4 years after in today's game. Because name me one football brand that in one way or the other doesn't have a knitted or woven material or a high or mid-cut color on their boots. That's what I'm... Okay, there's Pantofolo d'Oro, but you kind of know what I mean. And the funny thing is, guess who the product design lead on the Magista was? Denis Dekovic, who then, of course, made another move, went to Adidas, surprised everyone at Nike, but that's a whole other story. Now, for honorable mentions, I have some products that I actually feel a little bit bad aren't on the list because they were also big innovations and they played a big role in shaping the landscape of football products that we know today. And those two are amongst others, the Nike Mercurial Vapor 1 from 2002 and the Nike Mercurial R9 from 1998 that really defined the path that speed boots were going to take in the future. Now in 2010, the Adidas F50 Adi Zero took up that mantle and really set a new standard for lightweight speed boots. And finally, there's something that I sadly don't have in my collection, the Nike Brazil shirt from 1998 that, for shirts, set a completely new standards. Before that, shirts were heavy, they were kind of baggy, and the fit wasn't very nice. But the new Brazil shirt after Nike took over was a lot sleeker and then was made with Nike's dry fit fabric. That's a moisture wicking fabric. It's quicker to dry and it feels a whole lot lighter when you play, especially in warm conditions, as the players experienced, well, in 1994 in the States. So when they got the new shirt, they were really surprised of how comfortable and light and dry it was. So without further ado, that was the honorable mentions out of the way. Let's move on to the most innovative product ever made for a World Cup, at least in my opinion. Because for me, it's not really up for debate. The first Adidas Predator made in 1994, also for the World Cup in the States. It introduced, as the first boot ever, rubber fin elements on the leather upper to give you more swerve and grip and power on the ball. And when you combine this with the more unpredictable flight pattern of the Questra, I think it's kind of easy to understand why goalkeepers were a little bit frustrated, because this was absolutely unheard of, never seen back in the day, and 24 years after, in 2018, well, the Predator concept is still going strong. Now, the story goes here that the inventor, Greg Johnston, made the first prototype of the Predator after talking to the kids he was training and telling them to put swerve on the ball by imagining they were using a table tennis bat, to which the kids replied that, well, that was a bit difficult because table tennis bats had rubber swerve elements and leather boots didn't. So Greg Johnston went home and he stripped a table tennis bat off the rubber, slapped it on, and then finally developed it into this. 100% legal, 0% fair. And the rest, as they say, is history. So there you go, my friends, the 5 biggest product innovations and some seriously good honorable mentions that has ever been made for the World Cup. Which is the most innovative product made for a World Cup in your opinion? It could be on the list or as an honorable mention or something completely else. Nonetheless, you should let me know in the comment section right down below. Now after that, also remember that you can go and treat yourself to some of the World Cup products from 2018. They're also pretty wicked and you can find them all by clicking the link and going to unisportstore.com right over there. Before you do that though, you should also go subscribe to our channel with the notifications on to join the Unisport Live family, who has recently passed 1 million subscribers, to see all our latest videos with stars, boots and tricks the moment they drop. And after you've done that, well, you can also go and watch some more wicked top 5 videos by clicking the playlist right down here. With that said guys, I'm signing off. Cheerio.